Hello, I am Hodo, your casting director. Welcome to Caster Tips and Tricks. This is a special video series that is supposed to help Owlet casters so that we can become a little bit better as we progress through the tournament. There are going to be a lot of people who don't know how to cast in the very beginning, or who are just trying out and want to get and become better casters. So this video series is to help Owlet casters as they progress along and get better. There will be casters who will not broadcast on the main channel. There will be casters who will be very, very experienced and will not need this series that we will be going around. But today we're going to be starting initially here with openings. So with the Owlet tournament, we want to make sure that all casters have a strong opening as they come into any Owlet broadcast. We want to make sure that people project themselves, are very out there, can be very voracious, very energetic. We want to make sure that people understand that this is going to be a very exciting tournament. So I'm going to give you a personal example of what an opening should look like or sound like, especially in the Owlet tournament, and then I'm going to give you some professional examples on how that's going to happen. So for my personal example, here is an example of how I would do an opening for the Owlet broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Owlet Tournament. I am your caster, Hodohori, and we've got a wonderful match for you today. Today, it's going to be Team A versus Team B. They're very experienced here in the Owlet Tournament, both with winning records, so we're definitely going to see a very exciting match for you today. Joining me, as always, is my co-commentator and life partner, Pulse. Pulse, these two teams are going to be very, very exciting here on the field, and with the 2-2-2 changes, it's going to be very, very different from what we've seen in the last tournament. And then you break. So you throw in a little couple things there. I just sort of mess with Pulse a little bit because I cast with him so much. And everybody who watches me cast knows that usually my co-commentator is Pulse. So I usually throw in a joke in there or something like that to try to make him laugh. But it's all in fun. So you want to do something a little bit like that. So when you're opening, you want to be very, very energetic. So let me show you a couple of professional examples so that you can see what a professional example will look like here. And this one is from Gary Thorne from the NHL. This was done in the 90s. So if you want to sort of take a look, he's one of my casting favorites. I love this guy. When he calls hockey, he's fantastic. He's currently the broadcaster for the Baltimore Orioles. But you'll get to see an example of this.
There is great hope on the part of the fans here in the Coliseum in Quebec City. Their Nordiques have won Game 1, and this is a very good team, a very promising playoff future. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne, delighted to have you with us tonight. A bright young star in the National Hockey League blossomed in Game 1. Joe Sakic, the only hat trick in Round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs thus far. Bill Clement, El Morganti with me here. He did shine in that game.
It's a simple matter in the playoffs. Your key players have to play to their potential, and Joe Sakic did exactly that for the Quebec Nordiques in Game 1. But tonight, he's going to be shooting at it.
So you see what happens there. He basically does a soft lead-in to his co-commentator after introducing himself and what they're going to be watching today, even a throw-in into the game right there. So that's a great example of a soft throw. That is something called where you just leave your comments sort of blank and you just sort of go in there. Now I'm going to show you an example from Doc Emmerich, also a hockey broadcaster, but he's actually commentating football here for CBS. This has something called a question throw, which is what I did in the very beginning, where you throw a question out to your co-commentator to allow him to sort of start talking. So therefore, you'll get to see it here. And Doc Emmerich, you might notice his voice. He's currently the NBC commentator for NHL. So therefore, you'll immediately understand when you hear this.
Good afternoon, everyone. Along with Matt Millen, I'm Mike Emmerich. Vinny Testaverde has fought off the flu. He will be Sam Weish's quarterback today. Sam's got this big bag of tricks, but what does he do about the heat?
Well, when you talk about Sam Weish, you talk about innovation. And the way to take care of that heat today, he's going to do two things. First of all, he'll have the no-huddle.
And you see there, that was the example there of what you see with regards to sort of a question throw. And those are things that you can do all throughout the broadcast with regards to how to get your color commentator to engage. So just going to throw up the tips up here to make sure that everybody knows what they are. Remember, be energetic. You want to come in. You always want to start with a welcome greeting, either good evening, welcome, hello. But you want to say it with action. You want to mention what people will be watching today. So you throw in the game name, the tournament name. You always want to throw in the branding if you can. So if you're watching the Owlet tournament, let them know you're watching the Owlet tournament between two teams. I use Team A and B. They can be anything that you want them to be. Introduce your co-commentator, but you don't necessarily have to throw to him right away. And then you want to throw to your co-commentator when either through a question or a soft delay, just so that he can then start talking. Because the opening will want to sort of feature both you and your co-commentator. You want to make sure that you both seem very, very relevant and know what you're going to be talking about, because then it'll definitely lead to your audience listening to you more and complimenting you, or even acknowledging your calls and tips during the game. So hopefully this has been very helpful for you, and let me know if you have any comments or concerns, or if any questions. I am Hodo, your casting director here for the Owlet tournament. I'll see you next time.